Israel and Iran unleashing fresh attacks on each other, barrages of escalating missile explosions lighting up skies across the Middle East, with neither side backing down. We've got a live look now at Tel Aviv, where many are taking shelter in bunkers as the region braces for another possible wave of strikes.
President Trump is in Canada for the G7 summit and was asked about the conflict that is going on, the war between Israel and Iran.
Have you heard any signals or seen any messages from intermediaries that Iran wishes to de-escalate the conflict?
Yeah.
What have you heard? What have you heard from the Iranians?
They'd like to talk, but they should have done that before. I had 60 days, and they had 60 days, and on the 61st day, I said, we don't have a deal. They have to make a deal, and it's painful for both parties, but I'd say Iran is not winning this war, and they should talk, and they should talk immediately before it's too late.
Chris, we've had you on this broadcast for many years, and I feel like this conflict is a little different than ones we've had you on before. What's your sense on the ground of how it's playing out in Israel and what you're seeing?
I think this is much different than things that we have done in the past. I think we're looking at a historic change potentially here in the Middle East. I would say already we've seen such a change in the last 4 days since Operation Rising Lion began. Obviously, Israel has been taking some hits. Yesterday, I was in Bat Yam. That's where one of the Iranian missiles has hit, destroyed an apartment building. Tragically, 9 people died in that, three children, about 200 injured, about 75 buildings that were damaged to some extent. But what began when last Friday morning really is, I would say, a sea change in the Middle East history, with the potential that we may see a regime change in Iran because of what Israel has been doing to not only take out much of the nuclear infrastructure, air defenses, ballistic missiles, but also targeting much of the headquarters of some of the IRGC, the Iranian army, and eliminating just an amazing amount of senior leaderships in Iran. It's very reminiscent of what happened with Nazan Hezbollah with Hezbollah. But even on a grander scale, so we're in historic times right now, and some would say even biblical times.
President Trump issuing a firm warning to Iran, making clear the U.S. is not involved in these strikes, and saying if the U.S. is attacked in any way, shape, or form by Iran, the full strength of the U.S. forces will come down on you, and that's a quote. Also urging the two countries on Truth Social to, quote, make a deal.
Jeff, first of all, I just want to say we've been praying for your safety all weekend, but we are glad that you can join us today to give an update on what I think we should just start there. What is it like on the ground in Israel over these last few days? The Israeli people are resilient. They are strong. They are used to rockets all the time incoming. But this is a little different than previous conflicts with the Iranian proxies, as now it is Iran itself firing ballistic missiles.
Thanks, William, and thanks to you, everyone at ACLJ, my colleagues, and also many of our viewers and listeners and our supporters for prayers and for help. What it's like to be here, it's exhausting. It's hard to get a night's sleep. There's no way to get a night's sleep because there are waves of sirens that go off. The way it works here, the warning system is fantastic. So there are multiple apps. There's a Homefront Security app, a Homefront Command app, rather. There's a Red Alert app. And by the way, those are probably available everywhere in the world. I know that I will get those updates even when I'm out of this country. And they tell you that you should be within, let's say, 90 seconds of a shelter in Jerusalem. They'll give you that warning in advance. Yeah, there's an example of showing targeted areas. And then a major siren goes off. Now, the sirens go off in your neighborhood, and they're very calibrated. So I can be in my apartment and look out the window and see the interceptors overhead, a neighborhood or two over, and the siren will not have gone off in my neighborhood. So but nonetheless, many of these, when they do need to send us to shelters multiple times during the night. So that's what's been happening here. Otherwise, and let's also not forget, Israel is still prosecuting a war in Gaza. Israel is still trying to get back its 50 hostages and defang the murderous terrorists who still have control of Gaza. So it's not as though Israel's not fighting on multiple fronts. This is what's catching everyone's attention here. But this is, you said the word, it's resilient. I don't really know of a better word in the English language, but it certainly doesn't even become close to approach the actual resilience of the people of Israel.
We believe the Iranians. On Friday in the Security Council, I looked at the Iranian ambassador and I told him, I believe you. When your leaders say that you want to exterminate the state of Israel, we believe you. When you say you want to build a nuclear bomb, we believe you. So we take it very seriously, the threat of Iran. And what we are doing now, we are eliminating the risk for Israel, but not only for Israel. Today, those ballistic missiles are flying to Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. They can reach New York City and Miami. Give them a few months, they will have the technology and the ability to do that.
What we are seeing is, one, the restraint of the Israelis to wait until they felt like it was necessary. The fact, the intelligence gathering, the manufacturing, it appears, of drones within Tehran, and the coordinated effort between the IDF and Mossad and Shin Bet and the Israeli Air Force is something like we've never seen in modern warfare take place. And it really, I think, is a credit to the Israelis of their planning and their waiting until they felt like it was absolutely necessary to carry out such an operation.
The planning has been probably about 20 years in the making, Will. The precision and the intelligence that Israel has been gathering over the years, and the way that they've been able to infiltrate the Iranian leadership. And, when they started eliminating some of the top Iranian leaders, they knew where they were. And they not only knew where they were, but they also had the wherewithal, as you said, some of these drones actually taking in by different parts and then constructed inside Tehran or different parts of Iran. This is just something on a scale I don't know if any military army has been able to do this with all the intelligence apparatus, as you say, the Mossad and the Shin Bet, putting it all together and then operating it and releasing it at just the right time. This is just spectacular what they have been able to do and continue to do. Even as we speak, the attacks go on. I believe just a few hours ago, they hit the Iranian television in Tehran as well. And we're seeing just the consequences of what's happening. We're seeing, thousands and thousands of people from Tehran leaving. And we hear of, the Iranian people rising up like they have before. We've seen this before in the sense of maybe 2009, there was a Green Revolution, and then, but that was brutally suppressed. Again, in 2022 and 23, the protests when Mahsa Amini was killed just for wearing her hijab in an improper way. But this looks very different, Will, that if the people do rise up, it seems like it's a much weaker regime, much less able to suppress any sort of uprising. We were down at Bet Yam yesterday, and when we interviewed Naftali Bennett, a former Israeli prime minister, and he said this is the opportunity for the Iranian people to rise up, that the people of the world will be with you. And certainly what Israel is doing is really making it possible, it seems, for the Iranian people to finally get the freedom that they have cried out for 46 years.
Well, and as you mentioned, back with the Green Revolution under the Obama administration, there really was no support from an American government for there to be real change within the Islamic Republic of Iran. And I feel like it is a different era for many reasons, obviously. But as we look at what lays ahead, you see videos coming out of Iran of people chanting in support of what Israel's doing and against the Ayatollah and the mullahs in Iran.
Now, new concerns that the United States could be dragged further into the conflict. Two US officials telling ABC News President Trump earlier rejecting an Israeli plan to kill Iran's supreme leader. The president hopeful for peace, but saying this conflict may be necessary.
Well, I hope there's going to be a deal. I think it's time for a deal, and we'll see what happens, but sometimes they have to fight it out.
The concern that we had all along, among many, with the JCPOA, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the big, beautiful Obama-Iran deal, if you want to use some current terms, big, beautiful, it was anything but that. And one of the major criticisms, among there being no real teeth to it, no real inspections program, but that it did nothing to limit or rein in the ballistic missile program of the Iranian mullahs and the IRGC. And what we're seeing now is when Obama gave Iran pallets of cash, sanctions relief into the billions of dollars, everything that Iran said they needed to help the people of Iran and help their economy. They did what we said they would do the entire time. They spent it on terror with Hezbollah and Hamas and the Houthis, as well as developing some of the most technologically advanced ballistic missiles we've seen deployed on a battlefield. When you see these hypersonic missiles come down like a lightning strike in the center of Tel Aviv, you can draw that direct through line to the failures of the JCPOA. What was Iran doing during those years? Building these missiles, not helping their people. And I feel like that in and of itself, it shows why Israel had to act now, but also the failures of this appeasement that prior administrations have given to a genocidal theocratic dictatorship in Iran.
Yeah, William, I mean, I couldn't agree more. The JCPOA, I don't know if it was a failure or if it succeeded at what it really intended, which was to actually to install this terrible regime over and above its people, to oppress its people, the Iranian people, and to represent a genuine new power base for America, but a new power base that actually is a purely evil power base, one that has been trying to destroy America, chants death to America, burns American flags, is actively growing its intercontinental ballistic missile program, which obviously is intended not to meet Israel. Which they can hit Israel with regular ballistic missiles. It's to reach America. And over they say that America is the great Satan, that Israel's just the small Satan. We in Israel sitting here are a proxy for the United States of America. That is the great Satan according to Iran. And the JCPOA blindly is to put the best possible gloss on it. Really, as you say, it unleashed, some estimates are over $150 billion. I mean, billions and billions and billions of dollars to a regime that turned it right into launching major wars against American interests directly and, of course, against Israel. And all of this, every part of this is a result of, at best, a feckless American ideology and regime, or at worst, a really mendacious one. And Israel across the board politically was against JCPOA. In America, I recall very well that the Obama administration and John Kerry, they accused American Jews of being disloyal Americans for opposing the JCPOA when it wasn't even so. Most Americans thought this was a terrible deal, and it turns out it was a terrible deal. The wars that we're seeing now, from October 7th to now, are 100% a result of JCPOA and the shift from America to paying attention to what Iran was trying to do, to go nuclear and weaponize, to listening to America say, no, Iran rather saying, no, we don't mean that. We don't mean it when we say death to Israel. You can trust us that we want to have just peaceful nuclear power. It's ridiculous.
Well, and Jeff, once again, we have to combat those that are on their perfect little platforms on social media that try to say, oh, we're being drug into another war by Israel, or this is going to cost American lives. The ignorance when it comes to the global affairs in Iran is astounding, even that we're seeing on the right. And I feel like, if anything, this operation should be what most of the world would support. Right now, it's been very minimal American support, other than the defense agreements we have with Israel. I'm sure there is intelligence sharing, the communication between the United States and Israel. But this isn't American adventurism that we've seen maybe in the past. This is eliminating a real threat to global order. And this is the Israelis doing it mostly on their own with one of the most beautifully planned military operations I've ever seen and will be in history books because of how well it's been executed.
I mean, God willing that it ends up well, but there's no question, William, that this is a proximate, imminent danger to the continental United States of America. It's already evidence that it's danger to our assets elsewhere because they have been, Iran and its proxies have been blowing up American assets, murdering Americans, for years and years and years, and America's done almost nothing to respond. Israel, because it is imminently subjected to existential threat, is finally being forced to respond. And thank God Israel's doing it. But yes, Israel is currently prosecuting America's war. And the fact that there are voices who claim to be pro-America, who claim to be America first or part of Make America Great Again, and who are claiming otherwise, they are not. They're indistinguishable in their policies from the most extreme radical leftist, from the Squad, from Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib. They're indistinguishable. It's driven, it seems to be nothing more than hatred of Jews in Israel, because and they've lost their love for America underneath that. And groups like ACLJ and the Christian supporters of ACLJ and the other supporters of ACLJ, it's so important to stand up for the truth here, which really could not be more obvious, and fight against those voices.
We are so excited to announce the ACLJ's brand new app, completely redesigned to provide you with the best tools available to partner with us at the ACLJ. You can watch the daily Secular program, sign the petitions, customize your ACLJ membership experience, donate with the click of a button, and receive up-to-the-minute critical updates that the mainstream media can't censor. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to your phone's app store, search ACLJ, and click install. It's that simple.